The Pixel 10 Pro Fold is here, and at first glance it looks a lot like the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, but there are 18 confirmed changes under the hood. Some are small, some are major, some may surprise you. Let's break it down. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold is set to launch August 20th at the Made by Google event in NYC. Here's where Google's first move is a head-turner: pricing. Right now, the leaked prices show that the 256 model is going to be coming in at $1,599, the 512 at $1,919, and a new 1 terabyte model starting at $2,149. Pricing could be a game changer here, roughly $400 cheaper than the Z Fold 7. And do you really need more than 256 gigs of storage? Looks like Google is betting that you don't, and I agree with this approach. This could pull in some folks that were on the fence with Samsung's price tag and are looking to get into foldables, and it might cause some Slam loyalists to rethink a potential purchase. We're looking at the same book-style foldable design as last year. The outer display is going to be a 6.4 OLED, up from 6.3 thanks to thinner bezels. It's not going to be LTPO, so there won't be any variable refresh rate down to 1 Hz, but it will variable between 60 and 120 Hz. It's up to 2000 nits peak. That's up from 1800 nits last year. The inner display is going to be an 8-inch LTPO OLED, 120 Hz refresh rate, variable refresh rate, and 3000 nits brightness, up from 2700 nits last year. So again, still no LTPO on the outer display, which is a shame because that's the screen that's most likely going to have the most of the time being on. But we do have it on the inner display. So that's good for doing your usual workloads or doing your media consumption. We're getting some new colors. We're going to be getting Moonstone and Jade Green. Obsidian and Porcelain are gone. And they're redesigning the hinge. More compact, improves fold feel, and reduces the crease. SIM tray is moved to the top to allow for dual speaker grills at the bottom, so hopefully we'll see some improved sound with this model. And it's going to be slightly thicker than the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, coming in at 5.2 millimeters folded and 10.8 millimeters unfolded. And I'll explain why that is in a minute. Weight is going up to 258 grams. It's about 1 gram up from last year. Again, I'll explain why in a minute. And we're getting the first ever on foldables IP68 water and dust resistance. So that is going to be huge for those people that have very high dust concerns. I think for the most part, I haven't experienced any issues with dust, but I'm glad that they are bringing this to the foldable market. And it shows that the foldable phones can get this rating, and I'm looking forward to seeing more manufacturers implement this because the more protection on these expensive devices, the better. Let's talk about what's powering the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. At the core, we've got the Tensor G5 chip, now built on a 3nm process by TSMC instead of Samsung. That shift alone brings better efficiency and thermal management. You still get 16GB of RAM and storage options starting at 256GB all the way up to the newly added 1 terabyte variant, something many Pixel fans asked for last year. Now, here's where the slight white game makes sense. Google packed in a 5015 milliamp battery, about 7% bigger than last year's 4650 milliamp, and a full 9% more than the Galaxy Z Fold 7's 44 milliamp. That extra juice should give users noticeably long battery life, especially paired with the new chip. But that bigger battery is going to bring a bigger weight gain, and that's where that extra 1 gram comes in. Charging also gets a small boost, 25 watt wired and 15 watt Qi 2 wireless, and this year we're getting MagSafe-style magnets to help align the wireless charger, just like on the iPhone. It's a subtle upgrade, but a practical one. Connectivity got a touch up too. Bluetooth moves up from version 5.3 to 5.4. Not a headline grabber, but it's part of the whole theme here. Quiet, thoughtful improvements that add up. Now, let's talk cameras. On paper, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold sticks to the same tried and true hardware from last year. That means a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 10.5 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 10.8 megapixel 5x telephoto on the back. Up front, you've got dual 10 megapixel selfie cameras, one on the cover screen, and one inside for video calls or selfies when unfolded. So what's new? It's all about what's behind the lenses. With the Tensor G5's improved image signal processor, you're getting sharper detail, better HDR handling, and noticeably more natural color rendering, especially in low light. Night sight and HDR Plus see a boost, and photos should look crisper without feeling overprocessed. And if you're into editing, Google's Pixel Studio is built right in, giving you powerful touch-up tools and AI enhancements without needing to leave the camera app. When it comes to raw performance, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold isn't chasing benchmark records, and that's intentional. While the Tensor G5 still falls short of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in raw horsepower, it shines where Google wants it to: efficiency, stability, and AI-driven tasks. That's because it's built on TSMC's 3nm process. The Tensor G5 runs cooler and sustains performance longer without throttling. That means smoother multitasking, better battery life under load, and fewer hiccups during extended use, whether you're editing in Pixel Studio, switching apps, or navigating split-screen mode. In short, it's not for gamers, but for daily power users. It's fast where it counts. So, how does it stack up against the competition? Google's not trying to beat Samsung at being the thinnest or lightest. Instead, they're leaning into smart durability, brighter displays, and that all-day battery advantage. The Pixel's outer screen now hits 6.4 inches with ultra-thin bezels, which is on par with Samsung Z Fold 7. The main display remains 8 inches, on par again with the Z Fold size, but both panels on the Pixel are brighter, especially in direct sunlight. Where Pixel clearly wins is with the IP68 dust and water resistance, something Samsung can't match. The bigger battery, 5015 mAh versus 4400 mAh, and MagSafe-style wireless charging magnets also give Google the edge in practical usability. The trade-off? It's a bit chunkier and heavier, 258 grams versus Samsung's 215. But if you're after long-lasting power and more durability, the Pixel might just take the crown. With the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, Google isn't chasing ultra-thin or ultra-light. They're chasing durability, smarter AI, and real-world usability. The hinge is better, the display's brighter, and the battery's bigger. This is refinement, inside and out. So, what's the verdict on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold? It's not a radical redesign. It's a thoughtful refinement. You're getting 18 confirmed upgrades, and while none are groundbreaking on their own, together they add up to a foldable that feels more complete, more confident. The durability boost with the IP68 is a big win. The battery is bigger. The hinge feels better. The screens are brighter, and the AI features are smarter. Even little things like the SIM tray placement and wireless charging magnet show attention to detail. Yes, it's slightly bulkier than Samsung's Fold, but Google seems to have made peace with that in favor of meaningful upgrades. If you're a Pixel fan or someone who's been on the fence about foldables, this could be the one that tips the scale. And with a potentially lower price than the Z Fold 7, it might be the first foldable that truly feels like a value, not just a luxury. So, are you on Team Thin or Team Battery? Would you take the smarter Pixel or the slimmer Galaxy? Comment below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. We'll be covering the full Made by Google event in August. That's all for now, folks, and we'll see you next go-round.